Welcome to my channel and to today's video where, if you hadn't already guessed, I am going to be finding the best supermarket Christmas cake. Now I've got 9 cakes here and it is the basic one. It's not the best or the finest or whatever else they call the posh ones. I just went for bog standard Christmas cakes. I like Christmas cake, but I'm not sure how much I'm going to like it by the time I get to the end of this video. I'll just have to see. I'm just glad I decided not to do mince pies this year after Mike challenged me to the mince pie speed eating competition, which, by the way, I aced. But I digress. So, 9 supermarkets. There is no cake from Waitrose because they didn't really have a standard one. They had like number 1, but it was £4, which was way more expensive than any of these. However, these do all cost a fair bit. So I will be looking at price. I will be looking at presentation, how festive it looks, and of course, taste and texture. The other thing to say is these cakes are non-alcoholic. I like alcohol, but not really in my food. And of course it is a fruit cake, so if you don't like fruit cake, this might not be the video for you, unless you want to watch me eat 9 of them. So I'm going to go get a knife and a plate and get started. I will only be trying a small bit of each cake because, as I say, I've got 9 of the things to get through. Notebook and pen here so I can make a note of what I score each cake. I just tend to score things out of 5. I know a lot of people do it out of 10, but I just do 5. So 5 is outstanding, perfect, could not be better. 1 is barely edible. Very occasionally I will rank something at 0 if it's something I literally cannot eat. But I'm not sure that's going to be a problem with these Christmas cakes. So where do I begin? I'm going to begin with Iceland. Now, this is surprisingly one of the pricier cakes on the table, and it cost £3. So this is how it looks, and it's just got smooth icing. Some of the ones you're going to see actually have decoration kind of etched into the icing, which does give it that bit of festive feel. All the cakes are 400 grams. To make this fair, I'm going to slice the end off and then cut the slice that I will try, because the end is quite often a little bit dry, and so I didn't think it would be fair to rate them that way. I don't know why I've got a plate. This is a chopping board. I do not normally cut cakes sideways. It's quite difficult to get the knife through the icing when it's that thick. So these all have fondant icing, marzipan, and then the fruit cake. Don't want a big thick slice either. I mean, I'm cutting thin slices, which is not giving it the best chance of sticking together, but it is holding together quite well. You can see there is a massive cherry right in the middle of this piece. Good flavour. The icing is sweet but not sickly. The marzipan has, again, a nice subtle taste. And the actual fruit cake, it's not overly rich or sweet. The fruit pieces are juicy. There's sultanas or raisins and cherries in there. It's a very, very nice cake. Overall, I'm going to give this one a 3. I want to start kind of middle of the road and give myself room to maneuver. If necessary, I will bump it up or down, but I think 3 is probably a fair rating for Iceland. Next, I'm going to go for the Lidl offering, which is £2.29. So it looks pretty similar to the Iceland cake, but it is significantly cheaper. Now this one is not as dark as the Iceland one was. Again, it's got that unmistakable fruitcake smell. This is a much, much drier cake. It's also got the hardened bits of like peel in it. I prefer fruitcakes without. I'm going to give this one a 2 because it is a drier cake and it also has a sweeter taste from the icing. It's not overwhelmingly sweet, but it's not as well balanced as the Iceland cake was. Since I've just done Lidl, I am now going to go for Aldi. This is also £2.29, but it does have the design on the top. Christmas trees, which I do think is a nice festive touch. Right, well, it really does not hold together well when cutting. It's cracked there down the edge of where the tree is. And this is the slice, it's just falling to pieces. So that is not great. I'm gonna have to just stuff a load of cake and icing in my mouth. Not very attractive, but I'm not very attractive, so. Again, it's a really dry tasting cake. With a cake like this, I think the cake has to be moist. If you don't like the word moist, let's say oozy. The cake has to be quite oozy because otherwise it's a very dry sponge with a very sweet topping and it's not very pleasant to eat. I don't hate it. I wouldn't rush to have another slice. I'm going to give this a 2. I was expecting Lidl and Aldi to be better than that. Oh well. Okay, I have 6 cakes left and I'm trying to decide. I will go with the Co-op, £2.97. Now again, it's got a nice little design on the top. It's also got a much thinner layer of icing and marzipan than Lidl and Aldi did. Again, it's falling apart when it's sliced, and I think it is because of the design in the top. Even though I think it adds a nice festive touch, when it actually comes to the practicalities of eating the cake, it's maybe not quite such a good idea. Well, it's falling to bits and sticking to the knife. You can see there are big bits of fruit in it. It's actually a really nice cake. It's not dry, and the thinner layer of icing and marzipan does make a difference. It's not as sweet. I do like this cake. I'm actually going to move Iceland up to a 4 and rate Co-op a 3 because it's not as nice as the Iceland cake, but it is definitely better than Lidl and Aldi. I'm going to go for M&S next. This is £3, so it's the same cost as Iceland. It's got the holly leaves on the top. It seems to slice really well actually, even though it has got the decoration. I'm really impressed with how well this is sliced. Packed with fruit. I actually think I'm going to give this a 5. The cake is moist, it's packed with fruit, and the icing and marzipan layers are thin, so it's not too sweet. It's got more fruit in it than the Iceland cake, and it cuts beautifully. And for those reasons, that's why I'm rating it higher than Iceland. This, so far, is going to be the one to beat. I'm surprised. I did not think I would like the M&S cake as much, but there we go. Next up, the tempting fruit cake from Asda, £2.75. There isn't an awful lot in the prices. It's just got the smooth iced top again. It's another one that does not want to cut. but it's holding well together. So again, it's got quite a bit of fruit in it. Asda is getting a 4 because it doesn't have the richness of flavour that the M&S cake did. It had something that gave it depth. This sounds so pretentious, I know, but this cake and the Iceland cake are both very nice, but they are sweeter than the M&S cake. It just had a fruitier flavour to it. Good cake, only going to get 4, only. 4 is good. So I'm going to go in with Morrisons next. This one, £2.50. This is quite a light coloured sponge again, which to me signifies that it could be dry. But I don't want to prejudge. The slice is okay, and there is a fair amount of fruit packed into it. That's getting a 1. The cake is dry. The layer of icing and marzipan is way too thick. You can really taste the marzipan much more strongly than in any of the ones I've tried so far. And it's too much. Too dry, too sweet. Not for me. Next up, I have Tesco, £2.75. Another sticky cake that does not cut well, but it's got a really distinctive smell to it that the others have not had. It does almost smell like it's alcoholic. It's not though, but it does just have that sort of smell to it. I think I'd give that a 3. It's a nice cake, moist, good texture. The icing has a bit of a crunch to it, and it's not overly sweet. It's not amazing, but it's not horrible. It is just, I guess, average, hence why it's getting 3. I'm not sure who'll be more pleased by this being the final cake, me or you. But this is from Sainsburys and it's £2.85. And that is a thick layer of icing. I'm not mad keen on fondant icing, but I mean, I will eat it, obviously. I'm eating it now, but I don't like it when it's really thick. Okay, well, this is completely coming apart everywhere. It's going to be another handful of cake situation. I thought that would be better than Morrisons, but it's the same. The icing is too thick and too sweet, and the cake is dry. It's not nice. This is the cake for people who love icing and don't really want the cake. I would not have it again. M&S is my out and out winner. It is tied most expensive with Iceland at £3, but it's worth it. It is a delicious cake in my opinion. Iceland came tied second along with Asda. Iceland costs the same as M&S, so if you're going to spend £3, you may as well get your cake from M&S. If you want to save 25p, then get yourself to Asda for their cake. But that has been my review. I have very sticky fingers and a lot of mess to clean up. and I'm also feeling a little bit sick, mostly because of the amount of icing on that Sainsbury's cake. Thank God I didn't try that one near the start. Thank you for watching. You can let me know your opinions on Christmas cake in the box below, and I do hope you'll join me for the next video. But for now, Merry Christmas, folks. Bye.